Hello students, welcome to ePathasala. Myself M. Saravanan, working as Assistant Professor at Kumarur College of Technology. Today we are going to discuss about the module Effluent Treatment Plants for Dyeing and Finishing Houses. Introducing the module, textile industry is one of the largest and most complicated industrial chains in the manufacturing industries. The processes of production of textiles includes bed treatments and sometimes finishing processes for the textile materials are huge consumers of water with high quality. As a result of these various processes, considerable amount of polluted water are released. The methods of pre-treatment or purification of wastewaters in the textile industry can be of different, like primary, sedimentation, homogenization, neutralization, mechanical flocculation, chemical flocculation, followed by the secondary treatments aerobic and anaerobic, aerated lagoons, activated sludge processes, trickling filtration, oxidation and ditch and pond, and the tertiary treatments such as membrane technologies, adsorption, oxidation techniques, electrolytic precipitation and foam fractionation, electrochemical processes, ion exchange method, photocatalytic degradation, and the last, thermal evaporation. The selection of the purification method depends on the composition and type of wastewater. Textile materials production includes wet treatment processes like sizing, desizing, scouring, bleaching, mercerizing, dyeing, printing and finishing operations, but there is a strong interrelation between dry processes and consecutive wet treatments. The textile industry emits a wide variety of pollutants from all stages in the processing of fibers, fabrics and garments. Wastewater, solid waste, emissions to air and noise pollutions are such of them. The main environmental concern in the textile industry is about the amount of water discharge and the chemical load it carries. Textile industry is very water intensive. Water used for cleaning the raw materials and for many flushing steps during the whole process of garment production includes all those things. About 200 liters of water are used to produce 1 kg of textile. Water is a primary source mainly for application of chemical onto the textile fabric surfaces and the rinsing of the manufactured textiles. Objective of the module. The module aims to discuss following core points and elaborate them in detail for clear understanding and appreciate the importance of wastewater treatment for the textile industries. ETP. It's effluent treatment plant. It is a process designed for treating the industrial wastewater for its reuse or safe disposal to the environment is covered elaborately in this module. The various methods to control and standards for emission and discharge of environmental pollutants from various industries set by the government norms and avoid the penalties are also touched upon in this module. The industry's role, the quantity and quality of the industry's discharge effluent, the land availability of the industry is also discussed to support the effluent treatment process. The last is principle or mechanism on which these effluent treatment plant works in the industries. The quality of wastewater to be treated and biological treatment is also discussed in this module. In the effluent treatment plant, there are 3 terminologies very common. They are influent, effluent, sludge. Influent is nothing but untreated industrial wastewater. Effluent is treated industrial wastewater, and sludge is solid part separated from the wastewater through ETP process. In ETP you have a common process. The influent enters into the ETP plant and it gets out as effluent, and whatever the effluent subsidies and sub-residues are separated as sludge material. The need of effluent treatment plant to clean industry effluent and to recycle it for further use, to reduce the usage of fresh or potable water in industries, to cut expenditure on water procurement, to meet the standards for emission or discharge of environmental pollutants from various industries, to safeguard environment against pollution and contribute in sustainable development. Let me discuss about the textile wastewater. It includes a large variety of dyes and chemicals additions that makes the environmental challenge by the textile industries not only as liquid waste but also it needs chemical composition. Main pollution in textile wastewater come from dyeing and finishing processes. These dyeing finishing processes require the input of a wide range of chemicals, dyestuffs, which generally are by organic compounds of complex structure. Because of these organic structures contained in the final product become waste and they cause disposable problems. Major pollutants in textile wastewaters are high suspended solids, chemical oxygen, heat, color, acidity and other soluble substances. Removal of color from textile industry and dyestuff manufacturing industry wastewaters represents a major environmental concern. Only 47% of 87 of dyestuffs are biodegradable. It's well known fact that residual color is usually due to insoluble dyes which have low biodegradability, example reactive blue. Direct blue dyes and vat violet dyes have the ratio of 59.0, 17.7 and 10.8 of COD/BOD values. Conventional oxidation treatment have found difficulty to oxidize dyestuffs and complex structure of organic compounds at low concentration if they are especially refractory to the oxidants. Advanced oxidation process, shortly called as AOPS, have been developed to generate hydroxyl free radicals by different techniques such as combination of ozone O3, hydrogen peroxide H2O2 and UV irradiation. The characteristics of textile wastewater. Composite textile wastewater is characterized mainly by the measurements of biochemical oxygen demand, shortly called as BOD, chemical oxygen demand, shortly called as COD, suspended solid, shortly called as SS, and dissolved solid, DS. The COD values of composite wastewater are extremely high compared to other three parameters. In most cases, BOD-COD ratio of the composite textile wastewater is around 0.25. That implies that wastewater contains large amount of non-biodegradable organic matter. When you talk about AOPS, advanced oxidation process, its main goal is designed to generate and use hydroxyl free radicals, shortly called as HO, a strong oxidant to destroy the compound that cannot be oxidized by the conventional oxidants. The HO generation is commonly accelerated by combining ozone, hydrogen peroxide, titanium dioxide, UV radiation, electron beam irradiation and ultrasound methods. Of these methods, O3 H2O2 ratio, O3 UV and H2O2 UV hold the greatest promise to oxidize textile wastewater. About 99% and 95% of color removal can be achieved when COD initial was 160 and 203 mg per liter respectively. In addition, color removal efficiency increased with increasing the temperature range from 25 to 50 degrees Celsius. The rate of dye oxidation increases slightly due to the increasing pH of the solution. High color removal of reactive dye-bath effluent was achieved at pH 7 when using the ozone treatment concentration of 2970 mg per liter and the pH remains unchanged at 11. The pH reaction had to be at least 7 to enhance ozone decomposition and high color removal. Categorizing the water waste generated in the textile industry, it is broadly classified into 4 categories, each have suitable characteristics that demand different pollution prevention and treatment approaches. Number 1, hard to treat waste. These category of water waste includes those that are persistent, resist treatment or sometimes interfere with the operation of waste treatment facilities. Non-biodegradable organic or inorganic materials are the chief sources of waste which contain color, metals, phenols, certain surfactants, toxic organic compounds, pesticides and phosphates. In coming to non-biodegradable organic materials, surfactants usually present. These type of textile wastewaters are difficult to treat. Elimination of their sources are the best possible way to tackle the problem. Some of the methods of prevention are chemical or process substitution, process control, optimization, recycle, reuse, and better work practices. The second one is hazardous or toxic waste. These waste form a subgroup of hard to treat waste. Owing to the substantial impact on the environment, they are treated as a separate class of waste. Hazardous or toxic waste includes metals from textile finishing industries. Chlorinated solvents, non-biodegradable or volatile organic materials are used in these treatments. Materials often used for non-process applications are machine cleaning. The third one is high volume waste. Wash water from preparation and continuous dyeing process and alkaline waste from preparatory process includes in these things. Batch dye waste containing large amounts of salt, acid, sometimes alkali. These waste reduced by recycle or reuse as well as by process and equipment modification. The last one is disposable waste. Textile industry generate highly disposable waste compared to other three. Waste stream from continuous operations such as in the example of preparatory process, dyeing process, printing and finishing processes. Print waste also leads to these problems mainly from printing screen, fees and drum cleaning. Lint in the initial preparation, dyeing and washing operations, the foam from coating operations, solvents from machine cleaning, till bottoms from solvent recovery all contributes to these problems. The ETP works on common treatment process and treatment operations which is categorized as follows. Preliminary treatment level. Here you have different things. Number one is primary screening. A screen with openings of uniform size is used to remove large solids such as plastic, cloth, etc. Generally maximum 10 mm is used. Second one is sedimentation. Physical water treatment process using gravity to remove suspended solids from water. The suspended matter in textile effluent can be removed efficiently and economically by the sedimentation technique. The process is particularly useful for treatment of waste containing high percentage of settable solids or when the waste is subjected to combined treatment with sewage. These are like tanks designed to enable smaller and lighter particles to settle due to gravity. The most common equipments used here horizontal flow, sedimentation tanks and center feed circular clarifiers. The settled sludge is removed from the sedimentation tanks by mechanical scrapping into hoppers and pumping it out parallelly. The next one is equalization. Is used for separation of solids from fluids. Effluent streams are collected into some pit. Sometimes mixed effluents are stirred by rotating agitators or by blowing compressed air. The pit has a conical bottom for enhancing the settling of the solid particles from the wastewater. Neutralization is another one. Normally the pH values of cotton finishing effluents are on the alkaline side, 7 to 14. Hence pH value of equalized effluent should be adjusted. Dilute sulfuric acid and boiler flue gas rich in carbon dioxide are not uncommon for this. Most of the secondary biological treatments are effective so that the pH 5 to 9 neutralization step is facilitated to achieve those pH range. The pH can be adjusted in the treatment methods to make the wastewater pH neutral. For acidic waste, low pH like NaOH, sodium hydroxide, Na2CO3, sodium carboxide, CaCO3, calcium carbonate, CaOH2, calcium hydroxide or those things. For alkali waste, it's sulfuric acid and hydrochloric acid. Next one is mechanical flocculation. A textile wastewater is passed through a tank under gentle stirring. The finely divided suspended solids into larger particles and settle out. Special equipment such as clariflocculator is available for this type of treatment. It is usually a chamber, a part of sedimentation tank. The next widely used is chemical coagulation in the primary treatments. Coagulation refers to collecting the minute solid particles dispersed in the liquid into a larger mass. Common chemical coagulants like Al2SO43, usually called as alum, Fe2SO43, ferrous sulfate, are added to wastewater to improve the attraction among fine particles so that they come together and form larger particles called flocks. A chemical flocculant is usually a polyelectrolyte. Enhance the flocculation process by bringing together particles to form larger flocks which settle out more quickly. It's achieved by gentle mixing which causes the particles to collide. When coming to the secondary aerated lagoon treatments, the first one is trickling filtration. The trickling filters usually consist of circular or rectangular beds which is of 1 meter to 3 meter deep, made of well graded media, is usually like broken stone, polyvinyl chloride, coal, synthetic resins, gravel, or sometimes clinkers, which is of size 40 mm to 150 mm, over which wastewater is sprinkled uniformly on the entire bed with the help of a slow rotating distributor, usually rotary sprinkler equipped with orifices or nozzles. The wastewater trickles through the media and filter is arranged in such a fashion that air can enter at the bottom, counter current to the effluent flow, and the natural draft is produced. A gelatinous film comprising of bacteria and aerobic microorganisms, commonly known as zooglea, is formed on the surface of the filter medium, which drive nutrition supplied by the wastewater. Organic impurities in the wastewater are adsorbed on the gelatinous film during its passage, and the total thing is oxidized by the bacteria and other microorganisms present in the bath. Next one in the secondary is activated sludge process. It is most versatile biological oxidation method employed for the treatment of wastewater containing dissolved solids, colloids, and coarse solid organic matter. Here, wastewater is aerated in a reaction tank in which some microbial floc is suspended. Aerobic bacterial flora bring biological degradation of the waste into carbon dioxide and water molecules. It consumes some organic matter for synthesizing the bacteria. The flora in bacteria grows and remains suspended in the form of a floc, which is called as activated sludge. The reaction tank is separated from the sludge by settling and discharge method. A part of the sludge is recycled to the same tank to provide an effective microbial population for a fresh treatment cycle. Surplus sludge is digested in a sludge digester along with the primary sludge obtained from the primary sedimentation. It usually takes place to 5 to 24 hours for industries, and BOD removal to an extent of 90 to 95% can be achieved in this method. The next one is oxidation ditch and pond. It is a large shallow pond wherein the stabilization of the organic matter in the waste is brought about mostly by bacteria and to some extent by protozoa. Oxygen requirement for the metabolism is provided by algae present in the pond. The algae utilizes the carbon dioxide released by the bacteria for their photosynthesis. These oxidation ponds are usually called as waste stabilization ponds. The next one is in the secondary is anaerobic digestion. The sludge is the watery residue from the primary sedimentation tank and secondary treatment humus tank. These constituents of the sludge undergo slow fermentation or digestion by anaerobic bacteria in a sludge digester, where the sludge is maintained in a temperature range of 35 degrees Celsius with pH 7 to 8 for nearly 30 days. As a result, methane, carbon dioxide, sometimes NH3 are liberated as the end products. Next comes the tertiary oxidation technique. A variety of these techniques can be used to decolorize the waste. Sodium hypochlorite decolorizes the dye bath efficiently. It is a low cost technique, but it forms observable toxic organic halides. Ozone on decomposition generates oxygen and free radicals and coloring agents of effluent, resulting in the destruction of colors. Synthetic dye houses effluent by ozonization and hydrogen peroxide in combination with the ultraviolet light technique. Disadvantages of these techniques: it requires effective sludge producing pretreatment. Here, electrolytic precipitation and foam fractionation technique. The concentrated dye waste by reduction in the cathode space of an electrolytic bath being extremely long with contact times are required. Foam fractionation is experimental method based on the phenomena that surface active solutes collect at gas liquid interfaces. The chemical cost here is very expensive for these kind of treatments. Membrane technologies. It's a reverse osmosis and electrolysis technique. Most examples of membrane process. The total dissolved solids TDS from wastewater can be removed by reverse osmosis process. The osmosis is suitable for removing ions and large species from dye bath effluents with high efficiency, nearly more than 90%. Clogging of the membranes by dyes after long usage and high capital cost are some of the drawbacks of these processes. Still, the reverse osmosis membrane is suitable for removing high salt concentrations so that the treated effluent can be reused again in the process. The presence of electrolyte in the washing waste causes increased in the hydrolyzed dye affinity, mainly for reactive dyeing on cotton. The next one is electrochemical processes. Here, low temperature requirement than those of other equivalent non-electrochemical treatments and no need for additional chemicals. It can prevent the production of unwanted side products. If suspended or colloidal solids were high concentrations in the wastewater, then they impede the electrochemical reaction. The materials need to sufficiently remove before electrochemical oxidation. Next one is ion exchange method. It is used for the removal of undesirable anions and cations from the wastewater. It involves the passage of wastewater through the beds of ion exchange resins, where undesirable cations or anions of wastewater gets exchanged for sodium or hydrogen ions of the resin. Ion exchange resins now in use are synthetic polymeric materials such as sulfonyl, quaternary ammonium groups, etc. Photocatalytic degradation. It is an advanced method to decolorize a wide range of dye waters depending upon their molecular structure. Here, photoactive catalyst illuminates with UV light, generates highly reactive radical which decomposes the organic compounds in dye waters. Adsorption. Here, activated carbon is used. The exchange of materials at the interface between two immiscible phases in contact with one another, adsorption appears to have considerable potential for the removal of color from industrial effluent. One such example of ETP plant is near the Indian industries, or the raw materials it enters and subsequent process takes place, but each time from scouring, from bleaching, from washing, each time every waste waters have been taken to the ETP tank and goes for different techniques. The common types of effluent treatments are wash liquor effluent and dye bath effluent apart from the ETP plant. Coming to the conclusion, the module summarizes elaborately on the effluent treatment plant and the different processes involved in the effluent treatment plant. Among many engineering disciplines like civil engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, the textile engineering has a direct connection with the environmental aspects to be explicitly and abundantly considered. Out of various activities in textile industry, chemical processing contributes about 70% of pollution problems. It's well known that cotton mills consume large volume of water for various processes like sizing, desizing, scouring, bleaching, mercerization, dyeing, printing and finishing, and ultimately the other washing processes. Due to the nature of various chemical processing of textiles, large volumes of wastewater with numerous pollutants are discharged into the environment. These streams of water affect the aquatic ecosystems in number of ways and deplete the dissolved oxygen content, sometimes settlement of suspended substances in anaerobic conditions. A special attention needs in these areas for safeguarding the environment. The quality of life depends on the ability to manage available water in the greater interest to the welfare of the people. Water depletion of good quality water and environmental pollution has given tremendous importance to the wastewater management. The efforts are needed by water technologists, textile industry experts to reduce the water consumption in the processing industries, while the consumers and the consuming industries should try to optimize the water consumption. Wastewaters technologies should be adopted in integrated approach to treat and recycle the processed water. To save living species and surrounding environments, water reuse should be there. The main causes of generation of these effluents is the use of high volume of water either in the actual chemical processing or during the reprocessing in different preparatory, printing and finishing processes. In fact, practical estimate, it's found that 45% material in preparatory processing, 33% in dyeing and 22% are reprocessed water has been used. Thus, we must use ETP techniques and stop using the chemicals and dyes which sometimes causes the harmful effect to the biotic and abiotic factors in our ecosystems. The waste reduction at the source is the preferred strategy instead of traditional method of wastewater treatment. The The problematic chemicals and dyes leads to major pollutants should be avoided. What are the new technologies to reduce the eliminate water, and such type is ETP technique.